Good morning. Let's remain standing for a moment of prayer. Thank you very much. You can be seated. Good morning, honorable members. Let me take this opportunity to welcome everyone present, both virtually as well as physically in the house. I'm happy to see you, Member Bedenost. I was worried, the other day I was thinking about you, and we know that you received your apologies of both being sick as well as writing exams. So I'm actually happy you are here, alive and kicking. Let me welcome and acknowledge the Honorable Premier in absentia. I know he's actually attending virtually. Also recognize the presence of our Chief Whip of the majority party, Honorable Lesego Makhubela. Let me also acknowledge the presence of all MECs and honorable members, leaders of the opposition parties, and of course, members of the public. I don't have the name of the group that is here or the community, the area that they're coming from, but you are welcome, honorable members of the public. So we are happy that you are here to observe our meeting, but I also need to indicate to you that you can only participate through listening, no clapping of hands, no comments, no shouting, but you are definitely welcome to be here. Let me also acknowledge and welcome the senior management team of the Gauteng legislature. We have some few announcements. The speaker has joined us virtually. She's supposed to attend classes from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. So it's not an apology for not being present, but an apology to indicate that she won't be chairing this meeting between that hour. As soon as she's finished, she will then join us in the legislature. I got few announcements. There is announcement from members, but before we do that, let's look at the apologies. I've got an apology from Member Munya. Okay, Member Munya was saying he was going to be late, but he's here. Member Letsoalo will be joining us later. And then we also have a few members that are members of transport that are on a urgent government business. They're on a study tour led by Member Greg Seaman. Those are the apologies that I have. I'm not sure whether there are other apologies that I've left out. Okay. Thank you very much. Announcements. We've got Member Mdlankomo from the EFF that has an announcement, ma'am.
Thank you, Chair of Chairs. The emancipation movement was born on the 26th of July 2013. Economic freedom fighters will be celebrating its 10th anniversary of unbroken struggle on the 29th of July 2023. Here in the province of Gauteng, Johannesburg at FNB Stadium. Chair of Chairs and the House, you are all invited to be part of this unbroken struggle celebration. All roads leading to FNB Stadium in Soweto has started. Let us all be part of history. People of Gauteng are expected to ascend to Soccer City on the 29th of July 2023. EFF on its 10 years of existence, on its 10 years of existence, will in this province of Gauteng, EFF has grown significantly. It has 140 public representatives in all 5 municipal councils, 10 members of mayoral committees serving the people of Gauteng, and 11 members of this provincial legislature. EFF is governing in 3 municipalities in this province. Chair of Chairs, as the EFF, we invite you and the House to come and join us as we grow Gauteng together. Happy 10th anniversary, Economic Freedom Fighters. Thank you.
And thank you very much. I wonder, unbroken struggle of what? Against what? But maybe we'll engage outside. Thank you very much. Motion without notice.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yeah, notice without motion. Okay, motion.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Honourable Member, may I request that you sit down? There's none here. There's none here. Then there's a member statement. Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. In terms of there is no motion without notice from the members, so we'll pass that one. There is also no MEC statements in terms of Rule 71 in brackets 1. We'll then move to the member statements in terms of Rule 81 in brackets 1.
Sorry, Chair.
Member A. Dilange.
Chair, sorry. This was handed in yesterday before the cut-off time, this motion. There's no reason why it shouldn't be
What is that,
heard.
member?
My motion was handed into the...
What is that? What is that motion?
It's a motion about the Ugandan LGBT.
No, that's not an agent motion, but I'm coming there.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Member Dilange from Freedom Plus.
Thank you, Chair. Every act of violence against a child is a tragedy, and some showcases the morale of the society. In the aftermath of celebrating Child Protection Week comes the shocking news of a young student being raped and murdered, another of a 3-year-old girl being abducted. We so strongly advocate e-technology as the key in opening up new methods in crime fighting. But what is the use of a drone as it could not timeously respond and prevent the untimely death of the Palesas Malachi, the 17-year-old pupil from Nsaka Secondary School, who suffered at the hands of one of our own? The latest quarterly January to March 2023 South African Police Service crime statistics, although revealing a 20% of decline in child murders, there is a 29% rise in attempted murders compared against the same 3-month period last year. The violent deaths of 245 children and the physical and emotional impact of violence on a further 2,291 children are tragic, reminders of the scale of the issue. 28 children are violently attacked every day. 3 of them don't survive. The findings come as South Africa marked the annual Child Protection Week, which aims to raise awareness of the rights and safety of children. The statistics also reveal a shocking rise in violence against women, with 969 murders and 1,485 attempted murders recorded over this period. Violence against women takes many forms: physical, sexual, economic, psychological. But all of these represent a violation of human dignity and human rights, and have lasting consequences both for the women themselves and for their communities. Although government hosts an ongoing campaign to voice its anger against violence against women and children, we have to find ways of making our homes and communities safe for all, especially for women and children. Research shows that domestic violence against women remains widespread and underreported, and that victims of violence are not effectively supported by the public services. Insufficient specialised services for women and children who are victims of violence and the absence of professional services to victims is only a few of the reasons for non-reporting. Ending violence against children and women is on all of us and require a community-based, multi-pronged approach and sustained engagement with multiple stakeholders. Let us join hands and bring the criminals in our society to task. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Member Tilange. Member Engelbrecht from the DA.
Chair of Chairs, I would like to congratulate the Democratic Alliance majority-run municipalities for being ranked among the top 5 by Ratings Africa. According to Ratings Africa's annual report, the 5 top-ranking municipalities and top-ranking metros are all DA-run. Furthermore, the Auditor General's latest findings, you're not listening again. Furthermore, the Auditor General's latest findings on municipal finances revealed that DA-led municipalities took the lead on clean audits. Listen. DA-led Midvaal in Gauteng returned its 9th consecutive year of clean audits, while 21 of the 38 clean audits were from Western Cape municipalities. You should be ashamed of yourselves. In addition, Statistics South Africa revealed that DA-run Western Cape created 98% of all jobs from October to December 22, while the 8 ANC provinces together only contributed 2%. Where the DA governs, it spends tax money wisely, creating permanent jobs for thousands of unemployed residents of this country. I thank you, Chair of Chairs. You're ashamed. Be ashamed. Yeah, you're ashamed.
Member MEC Khumalo, your hand was up before Member Engelbrecht. Honorable MEC Khumalo. Okay. Now, thank you. MEC, Member M. Letsie Mukhale from the ANC, your member statement.
Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs. The ANC roadmap, which is Growing Gauteng Together, Vision 2030, identifies economy, jobs and infrastructure as some of its 6 priorities to create the Gauteng we want. Amongst others, the ANC committed itself to introduce special economic zones where feasible, turning Gauteng city region into a single, multi-tier and integrated special economic zone. Honourable members, today we see the fruition of the ANC commitments with the OR Tambo Special Economic Zone. As the ANC caucus, we are delighted by the milestones made by the ANC-led Gauteng Department of Economic Development through the Gauteng Industrial Development Zone. The department delivered a food factory with the second largest refrigeration plant in the world. The facility, which is 22,735 square meters in size, has created over 2,256 jobs, with majority of participants being women and youth. We look forward to the food factory attaining its projected export products to the value of 1 billion rand. The ANC is further pleased with the facilitated delivery of 102 million gold refinery, which is metal concentrators, with the capacity to support South Africa's gold product exports for 20 billion worth of exports per annum. The refinery has the state-of-the-art infrastructure that has been introduced in South Africa, of course, through the investors' capability initiatives to grow Gauteng economy. Madam Chair of Chairs, this is an indication that through the government led by the ANC, our priority as the ANC is to give the people of Gauteng decent services with the intention to fight poverty and improve livelihoods. The ANC is confident that through our work and prioritization of the needs of the people of Gauteng, when the 2024 elections come, the people will affirm the ANC by giving it a mandate to continue serving the people of the province. Remoro.
Thank you very much, Honorable Letsie. I now have the name of the team. I now have the name of the team that have joined us. It is students from the University of Johannesburg, Kibanabako UJ. So you are welcome. Some of you have gone out, but you are definitely welcome, UJ team. We hope that you'll continue working together. Thank you, thank you, UJ. Member Mncube of the ANC.
Thank you, Honorable Chair of Chairs. I, Honorable Pinky of the ANC, tables the following member statement on the rape and murder of Elena in Soshanguve. The community of Soshanguve was left reeling with shock and fear in the past 2 weeks following the rape and murder of a 17-year-old Palisa Malachi. Palisa, who was a grade 12 pupil at Nzako Secondary School, was raped and murdered on her way from school. Her lifeless body was found in a field on the 26th of May, a day after she was reported missing. Meanwhile, in Boksburg, Van Dijk Park 32-year-old Gabriela Ndaba went for her daily walk, never to be seen alive again. Her lifeless body was found under a bridge 6 days after she went missing. Honorable Chair of Chairs, South Africa is not short of laws that seek to protect women and children. South Africa is not short of prayer warriors who have been praying for the safety of women and children. We are not short of activists that are fighting for the rights of women. Despite all of this, we continue to experience extreme violence against women and children. On the 30th of May, Minister Peggy Cele presented the quarterly crime statistics to Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Police, which indicated an increase in the number of reported cases of murder and rape. Honourable members, I stand in this august house today to say to each one of us here, Zemkim Inkomo Magwalandin, we are on our own rescue. We can unite to end gender-based violence. The ANC wants to see a Gauteng where women enjoy their rights, free from all forms of violence. To the families of KB and Palisa, our hearts are heavy. We feel your pain. We urge the police to leave no stone unturned to find the culprits and bring them to book. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member Ngube. Can I request the members, and on this one I need to make this comment. You know, when it comes to rape of women and children and murder, we can't bring in politics on that, or nasty comments. Wait until your own child, your mother, your aunt, your sister get raped and killed. Then you'll understand the emotions. So can I request members, I know sometimes it's difficult not to comment on other people, but when it comes to these issues, some of us become very emotional, and I'm sure all of us want to see a country, a province that is women and children friendly, and of course nasty comments when it comes to such should actually stop. I know it's difficult for some of you guys, but please don't. If you want to see the true colors, make nasty comments when it comes to children's murder and women's rape. Then please, guys, I need to make this comment. It's a plea. It's a plea, member. It's not a threat. It's not a threat. It's a plea. When there are statements on those issues or there are debates on those issues, ask Kenya di politique, ask Kenya nasty comments. And I'm not sure what is a threat there, which is true. Some of us, we have, no, ma'am. I've made a comment, ma'am, and if you want to re-debate, bring in a motion, we'll debate. Okay, I'm not going to have a debate. Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Ngube, and thanks for bringing in this issue. Some of the women can't talk for themselves, and they need women, honorable members like you, to speak on their behalf. Thank you very much, ma'am. Member Tilange? Sorry, Member Diak, where's my, okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The President of Uganda has signed a bill criminalizing same-sex conduct, which further advocates for the death penalty for those convicted of aggravated homosexuality into law. The new law creates new crimes such as the vaguely worded promotion of homosexuality and introduces the death penalty for several acts considered as aggravated homosexuality. It is worth noting that Uganda's penal code already punished same-sex conduct with life imprisonment and now further increases the present sentence for attempted same-sex conduct to 10 years. As a Democratic Alliance, we condemn this inhumane law that tramples on the human rights of Uganda's LGBTQ+ community, stripping them of their dignity. This deeply repressive legislation institutionalizes discrimination, hatred, and prejudice against LGBTQ+ people, including those perceived as LGBTQ+. Noting that all parties agree that the rights of the LGBTQ+ person are human rights, we should strive for their equality and inclusion in all spheres of our society. The fact that homosexuality is only decriminalized in 22 of the 54 African countries shows the level of engagement that still needs to take place universally. Subsequently, the Democratic Alliance proposes the establishment of the multi-party committee in the Gauteng legislature, which at its core will address and engage such issues. As the DPL, we will be able to take the lead on these matters as we aim to promote, uphold, and protect the rights of the LGBTQ+ community. We cannot allow for silence or inaction from our government as people are vilified and consensually making their own choices. No one should be attacked, imprisoned, or killed on the basis of who they choose to be. The Gauteng Provincial Legislature's multi-party subcommittee will represent the diverse interests of the community. In addition, it will be a committee in which we take note of the progress that has been made and the challenges that exist in advancing the rights of the LGBTQ+ persons. I thank you.
I support.
Thank you very much, Honorable Diakhar. Member MEC Kumalo's hand is up again. MEC Kumalo.
Madam Deputy Chair of Chair, I wanted to make an announcement, but I had network problems. Can I proceed later or now?
You can make an announcement.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Chair of Chair. Let me take this opportunity, Madam Deputy Chair of Chair, to congratulate the ANC in the West Rand for hosting a successful 11th Western Regional Conference from the 2nd to the 4th of June 2021 under the theme Deepening Activism, Building a Conscious Leadership and Consolidating a United Organization Forward to 2022.
Chair of Chairs.
I hereby convey my heartfelt
Honorable
congratulations.
MEC.
There's a hand here.
Hello?
Yeah. There's a hand. I think there's a point of order, but also we can't hear you properly. So can we request that you stand somewhere where you can be audible? Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair of Chairs. I don't know, maybe you'll guide me. I thought we were on member statements. We were way past announcements. And I don't understand how you allowed that one, or is it because it's Member Mzikumalo, or... Thank you.
Okay, let me respond to that, ma'am. Remember earlier I said Member Kumalo's hand was up when we were considering announcements, and I called his name twice. I don't know what is happening with his connectivity. So that is why I'm allowing him again now. It's not because of any ulterior motives. I did, if you remember very well, I did call his name. Do you agree that I did call his name earlier when we were considering announcements? Okay.
Thank you, Chairs. I want the House to note this date, that should the same thing happen in future, be it with us or with other members, it is going to be allowed, because you have now set a precedence that we're jumping from this item to the other one. We go back to items that we went past.
We've done it before, ma'am, not on announcement, but we've done it before where a member is unable to connect, if he has connectivity challenges. We've allowed those members to speak after the time has passed.
No,
yeah, it's not the first time.
It's noted, Chair of Chairs, but I think maybe I should also remind the House that I wanted to submit my member statement. It was not you, it was the Speaker of the House. She refused to grant me the opportunity to speak when she said, we are past member statements. We are now on this item and I cannot go back.
Okay.
So now it is noted that in future, should it happen with us, we will be granted that thing. We should be treated equally.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Kumalo, we are unable to hear you, but also not because of what has just been said.
To hear me now.
Honorable Kumalo, can you please listen? Not because of what was just said by the honorable member now. I'm not going to allow you to make your announcement now, and reason being, your submission was not done 2 hours before. You only made your submission by raising your hand, and we recognized your hand earlier, and we're not aware that it was about announcement or a member statement, but we had to respect you as a member of this House and allow you. And now that we are aware that you are making an announcement, we will request that your announcement be submitted to us minimum 2 hours before the meeting, or a day earlier. If it's actually a
No.
member statements, you know the rules. You used to work in the office of the speaker. Please follow the rules, sir. So for now,
No,
I won't allow you
Deputy-
to make an announcement.
Dep-
Thank you very much, sir.
Deputy Chair of Chair, the announcement was sent yesterday to the legislature, and the officials of the legislature duly confirmed that it was received.
Did you receive?
Yes, I did submit it yesterday, Madam Deputy Chair of Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable Kumalo, I'm not going to be intimidated, guys, unfortunately. Honorable Kumalo, I'm not going to allow you to make a statement now. We'll actually look at the information that you're giving us, and then at the next meeting, we'll definitely allow you to make a member statement. Thank you very much, sir. Can we then move to the next item on the agenda? There was a notice for an agent motion. That notice that was given to us, and looking at the content of that, of that motion, I want to rule, honorable member, there is no agency at the moment, particularly because already there is a statement that was made by a member. And if you want to continue with submitting this particular motion for debate and discussion in the House, I will request that you submit it to the programming committee for consideration, and at the next meeting, we might debate your motion. Thank you very much.
Speaker.
Next item on the agenda.
Sorry, Speaker, this is the second time I've submitted it. Could I have some indication as to how I can actually get this through programming? Because we've submitted it twice in time, in terms of the correct procedure and everything, and we've been told it must be resubmitted in some different way. So am I going to spend the rest of the year submitting this thing to the House?
We'll let it be discussed by the programming committee, and then we'll discuss it at the next meeting if it is agreed at that level. Thank you very much. Can we go to the next item on the agenda? Oh, sorry, Member Dikhamela, on behalf of Deputy Chair, on behalf of the Chair of Chairs. Member Dikhamela. Okay. Unfortunately, Member Dikhamela is unable to connect. We'll then move to the next item on the agenda. We've considered the apologies, or should I repeat them, honorable members? There is Member Mhlakaza Manamela attending a conference in Barcelona with GPL Transport Chair Skiman, Member Munyayi, in a study tour in Tanzania. Member Fred Nell is also on transport study tour. Member Duplessis is also on transport study tour. Member Makakula, she's unable to attend due to ill health. Can we then move to the next one? To the next item on the agenda?
Chair of Chairs, sorry.
Rule? Rule, ma'am?
Oh, but
Rule, ma'am?
Which rule?
83 for recognition.
No. Sit down, ma'am.
No, but Chair of Chairs, we've got apologies from the EFF and they were sent.
No, we don't have them. I've got the ones that are written here. And I'm going to the EFF and allow DA to come in. At least Tinama policies to Ayazam Oksondelan. So but unfortunately, ma'am, I don't have those apologies.
They all went to their study tour in Barcelona.
We don't have those apologies, ma'am. Ask them to resubmit the apologies so that they can be noted. Thank you very much.
I know we are being dealt with, yeah.
We've got the issues of Secretary, please read the first order.
You read this.
Determination of seats in the Gauteng Provincial Legislature ahead of the provincial elections by all parties.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll start with the ANC. Ladume, determination of the seats really increase from 70 whatever to 80. ANC? Okay. Let's inagane Chief Whip Raboy. DA.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair of Chairs. I, Tolim Timang, on behalf of.
Can I request Ntate Ntwin? Mukwebo.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Mukwebo. Ntate Mukwebo. Renali challenge ya Ntwina ya sound. Can you request for re-tule kaofela so that you can hear those that are not in the house? Thank you, Honorable Msimang.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair of Chairs. On behalf of the Democratic Alliance, we want to welcome the proposed expansion in terms of the allocation of members of the legislature. Indeed, Gauteng has really grown since 1994, and we haven't really taken that into consideration in terms of ensuring that there is enough public representatives that are able to spread themselves throughout, Gauteng, and ensuring that they're able to then cover the length and breadth of this province of ours. As much as it is small in geographical size, it is very much big in terms of the population that we have to represent. 10.10 million people reside in this province. And even if we are now to look at the IEC's own allocation of 100,000 members to one, public representative, it still doesn't match. But at least we are now moving in the right direction moving from 73 to 80. Ma'am, I must also just say in conclusion that perhaps what we will need to then ask is that the legislature itself doesn't really incur additional costing in terms of ensuring that there is space enough to accommodate the additional members that will be coming, whether it is in the House or whether it is additional offices that needs to be prepared. May I please ask that this House consider having a report being prepared by the Secretariat and the Office of the Speaker in ensuring that members that will be coming can and should be accommodated within the already existing infrastructure that is there within the legislature. That will go a long way in reducing the cost and ensuring that we can use the money towards servicing the people instead of on personnel amongst us. That's what the Democratic Alliance would want to put on the table. Thank you very much, Madam Chair of Chairs.
No, thank you very much. No, thank you very much.
I was asking Honorable Msimanga whether the Democratic Alliance support or don't support, because I didn't hear him at the beginning of his speech. So the House, particularly Honorable Albert, indicated that he supports. So what is it? What is the excitement all about? Okay, Honorable.
Madam Chair,
thank you very much, Madam Chair of Chairs,
we are supporting.
Presiding officers, leaders of other political parties, and our guests from the University of Johannesburg who are here observing and hoping to learn from us. Madam Chair of Chairs, this is a long-standing motion which was submitted by the ANC a long time ago. We did so because the Gauteng of 2023 is far much more bigger than the Gauteng of 1994. We would know, all of us, with the migration patterns into the province, where we are experiencing over 300 people moving from 300,000 people moving from other provinces into Gauteng almost every month. And this has caused a great expansion in terms of the population that resides in Gauteng. And therefore, that's why the ANC took a decision that for us to be able to ensure that there's fair representation and also there's the voices of the people of Gauteng from all walks of lives and from all corners of this particular province are heard and responded to. We needed to expand the seats into this House. We thought that this would have been done, Madam Chairperson of Chairpersons, by the 2019 elections. Unfortunately, it was not done, and therefore that's why the ANC moves to support its motion to say that let's expand the legislature so that it's able to ensure that we were able to represent the people of Gauteng adequately in proportion to the population of Gauteng. We're the second biggest legislature in the country after KwaZulu-Natal. But in terms of the population, we're big, and this population in Gauteng is growing every now and again, and therefore that's why we must expand the legislature seat allocation so that it meets the demands of public participation and that we respond to all the people of Gauteng. You will know, Madam Chair of Chairs, we receive petitions, there are demonstrations that happen, our people are trying to talk to us, and the numbers of the people who are in this House are not enough that we are able to reach the length and breadth of this particular province. And it is this reason that the ANC supports its own motion that the seat allocation be expanded. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Makubela. Can we then move to EFF?
Thank you, Chair of Chairs. As the EFF, we have all along held a view that the number of seats within the Gauteng legislature should be determined with accordingly, especially if we consider the ever-increasing number of the population of the province. In order for this province to be effectively and efficiently carry out its constitutional mandate of service delivery, it is important that the legislature is constituted by a maximum of 80 MPLs as provided for by the Electoral Act 73 of 1998. The EFF therefore supports an increase from 73 to 80 members because the population has increased exponentially over the years. The Gauteng legislature remains underrepresented in as far as public representatives are concerned. As an economic hub of the country and the role that this province plays within the sub-Saharan region, it is again important that representation of public representatives within the legislature reflect this reality. We want to believe that the necessary consultation in this regard had been duly followed, and the IEC is now needed to play its part in determining the number of seats that speaks to reality of provincial level. As the EFF, we support the long overdue determination of seats within the Gauteng provincial legislature. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. Can we then move to Freedom Front Plus?
Thank you, Chair of Chairs. Our first reaction can only be described as at long last. It has now been years since the number of seats in the Gauteng legislature should have been adjusted upwards to reflect the growing demography of the province. The current 73 seats of the Gauteng legislature have proven to be wholly inadequate to ensure that the people of Gauteng are demographically represented as per the dictates of the South African Constitution, the Electoral Act, and the demographic reality of Gauteng. South Africa is a multi-party democracy, parliamentary democracy. Its electoral system and seats allocated must reflect the demographic reality of the country, including each of its provinces. The amendment of Schedule 3 of the Electoral Act has now made the upward adjustment of seats possible. The Freedom Front Plus agrees that the legislature is underrepresentative of the population of the province, and the only way to remedy the situation is to increase the number of seats to the maximum allowed by the Constitution. The Freedom Front Plus therefore wholeheartedly supports the Gauteng Provincial Legislature's submission to the Electoral Commission to ensure the seats of this House are adjusted upward from 73 to the maximum of 80. However, cognizance also needs to be taken by the Legislature and Parliament that Gauteng's demography has increased to such an extent that we now have surpassed the Electoral Act's formula of 1 seat per 100,000 people in a province. Taken to its logical conclusion, the GPL should be able to increase its seats to 161, given the current 16.1 million population. The same is true for the KwaZulu-Natal legislature, which should be able to increase its seats to 116 from 80 due to its population of 11.6 million people. Therefore, in order to properly represent the people in terms of the principles of representative democracy, we should also approach Parliament to amend Section 105(2) of the Constitution to allow for increases in line with the Electoral Act formula, as applied to the considerable demographic growth witnessed in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. In the meantime, the current application to increase our seats to 80 is indeed a positive development in line with the principles of responsible and effective representative democracy. Thank you, Madam Chair of Chairs.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. Can we then move to the IFP? Honourable Dlamini.
Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs, and I don't know why MEC Khumalo referred to you as Deputy Chair of Chairs. Greetings to the Honourable Premier and the members of the Executive, members of the Legislature and Gauteng citizen. Madam Chair of Chairs, one gets a personal satisfaction to support the increase of the membership of the legislature because one was involved in the fourth quarter when we established an ad hoc committee to deal with this matter, hoping that it will be implemented in 2009. And I remember very well that I even had the privilege of leading a delegation to Northwest and Northern Cape and Free State to lobby other legislatures after we've established that ad committee. And we were hoping that in 2009 we were going to have that, but we couldn't. But I am really happy that now it's going to happen because our population has all grown as a province. The IFP really supports this because I agree with all the members that have spoken before me. They've given the statistics, they've given the reasons. But as I say to you, it gives me a personal satisfaction that I know that I was part of that ad hoc committee that started the process of lobbying other provinces to support us through the NCOP so that we are able to have this amendment so that we get this increase of our members. The IFP therefore supports the increase. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Dlamini. ACDP. Bishop.
Good morning, Honourable Chair of Chairs. Good morning to the Honourable Premier, to the Executive, all the colleagues, the MPLs in the House and those on the platform, the citizens of Gauteng. The ACDP supports wholeheartedly the increase of members of legislature from 73 to 80 members. The ACDP would like to mention not only must we look at the demographics in terms of the increase, the ACDP would like to call upon all political parties in the legislature to foursquarely, intently, and focusedly look at racial composition within the legislation. We would ask that the political parties begin to look at the racial composition of the citizens of Gauteng. If you look at the House today, it is not representative of the citizens of Gauteng. So we want to make that appeal, not only to the ruling party or the governing party, but to every other political party. The only party that is 100% represented here is the ACDP. Secondly, what is important, Honourable Chair of Chairs, is that the Bible says life and death is in the power of the tongue. The ACDP says that the 7 seats that are coming is the 7 seats for the ACDP in 2024. We so speak it. We support wholeheartedly. Thank you, Honourable Chair of Chairs.
Okay, thank you very much. Quantum leap is allowed, man, thank you very much, Honourable Member. Can we then thank all the political parties for their submission? We now move to the next item on the agenda. Secretary, please read the second item. Okay. Member Engelbrecht, your question to the MEC for Social Development. Member Engelbrecht. Okay. No response. Second question, Member Engelbrecht.
Chair, my apologies. I thought it had already been given to the MEC for reply, so I don't have the questions. I can find them quickly. I didn't have them available.
Okay, can we move to the next? I'll come back to you, ma'am, for you to read out those questions. I hope there won't be any issues when I call you again. Member Masoleng from the EFF, your question to MEC Social Development.
Thank you, Chair of Chairs, and good morning to you and the House at large. Understanding that the Department of Social Development is responsible for ensuring that the evicted Marikana community in Tshwane Ward 57 is relocated, transported, and provided with food and relief packages. As the EFF, we are aware that today they are still out in the cold since the 23rd of May 2023. The EFF has also noted with distress that the women and children are also affected in this saga. To this end, will the MEC respond to the following? Number one, when are you going to provide transport for the affected community? When are you going to provide food to the affected community? When are you going to provide the relief packages to the community in question? What is the budget allocation, intended monetary allocation set aside to assist the Marikana community in Tshwane Ward 57 in rands and cents? And when and where, include the exact date, will the evicted Marikana community in Tshwane Ward 57 be relocated? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair of Chairs. And let's thank the questions. With regards to question one, the Department of Social Development is not responsible for evictions or transport. The municipality or the Department of Human Settlements is best placed to respond on that. With regards to the provision of food to the affected communities, the Gauteng Department of Social Development, specifically our Tshwane region, has managed to assess the 220 households to determine their basic needs. The assessment of the region has resulted in the following: blankets provided and mattresses, cooked daily meals for the 220 from the 2nd of June, and this service is continuing while the department is engaging other stakeholders to provide further assistance. On the 5th of June, the region, in collaboration with one of our NGOs called the Youth for Survival, will also provide psychosocial support to the affected community members. With regard to question 3, when are we going to provide relief packages to the community? This has been responded to above. With regard to question 4, what is the budget allocation intended and the monetary allocation set aside for the Marikana community? The response is as follows. The Department of Social Development deals with all disaster situations on a standard matter as they take place. Accordingly, there is no specific budget that is allocated for the Marikana community in particular. However, the funds are drawn from those that we utilize for disasters. With regards to question 5, when and where will the exact date of these individuals be evicted from the community? The mandate of the department does not extend to evictions or relocations of the communities. The municipality or the Department of Housing are better placed to respond. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC Hlophe. Any follow-up? Follow-up, Masoleng? Or comment? Thank you very much, ma'am. We now go back to Member Engelbrecht to please ask questions to MEC Hlophe.
Chair of Chairs, thank you. With regards to the Motlakeng Old Age Home, would the MEC please indicate the following? Firstly, on what date will the first residents be welcomed to Motlakeng Old Age Home? Secondly, how many residents will be accommodated at Motlakeng Old Age Home? Thirdly, how many staff members will be employed and at what salary scale will they be employed? Fourthly, from which institution were these staff members trained? And lastly, what is the current monthly and annual cost of security for Motlakeng Old Age Home? Thank you.
Member Hlophe.
Thank you, Madam Chair of Chairs, and thank you for the question. With regard to question 1, on what date will the first residents be welcomed at Motlakeng Old Age Home, the department has decided to take over the management of the facility, therefore making Motlakeng Old Age Home the first state-run and state-operated old age home. A budget has been allocated and preparations are underway for the facility's opening, which is anticipated in the 3rd quarter. How many residents will be accommodated at the facility? The facility is registered for 76 residents. Question 3, how many staff members will be employed and at what salary scale? As indicated on question 1, the Motlakeng Old Age Home is part of the department's realignment project. The structure and post-determination, including salaries, is something that is in progress as we anticipate its functionality in the 3rd quarter. With regard to your 4th question, the job descriptions and entry requirements for the posts will only be determined after the conclusion of the structure. And as it pertains to the budgets and the 5th question, an allocation of just over 1.3 has been allocated per annum, and this translates to per month 114,528.25. Thank you.
Chair of Chairs, thank you. MEC, I find your remarks very interesting because last year in March, the department had a huge opening at big fanfare, and the MEC invited dignitaries to open the Motlakeng Old Age Home. That was last year, March. It's now a year later. Now, I'm busy talking. It's now a year later, and now you want to say that it will be opened. So I find those comments very, very strange. And then 22 people were trained to work at Motlakeng. They were highly trained people, and they were just left in the dust, not given the contracts that they'd been promised. So I find your comments very strange, MEC. Maybe you can just comment on that, please. Thank you.
Okay. Confused.
Yeah.
In terms of Rule 134 in bracket 7, I now open for additional supplementary questions or additional remarks by members who wish to do so. Okay, thank you very much, Honourable MEC Hlophe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We will submit the responses accordingly, but maybe just to remind the Honourable Member that in the first response we do indicate that the department has had to take over the facility. You will note that it is constructed by the province, however it was handed over to local government, and due to some of the problems that were there, we've had to take it over, and that is why we cite and indicate that because we are putting corrective measures in place, it should be ready for functionality by the 3rd quarter. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honourable Hlophe. Honourable Engelbrecht, you can ask your question directed to MEC for Infrastructure Development, NEC Maile.
Chair of Chairs, thank you. With regard to the Kempton Park Hospital, could the MEC please indicate the following? Given that Kempton Park Hospital has been standing empty for more than 20 years, why has the building never been considered for other purposes to help grow the economy and create jobs? Secondly, what is the monthly and annual cost in rands and cents incurred by the department for security services for this abandoned building and for how many security personnel? Thirdly, under what conditions are visitors allowed into this building and who provides this access to them? Fourthly, what is the rand value of the property? And finally, what future plans does the department have for this massive property? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Mr. Maile, please respond to questions.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much.
Paris, how's Paris?
Chair of Chairs, I would ask to switch off the video because the answer that I'm giving is also on the same gadget. With your permission, I switched it on so that you can see it's me. The first question is that the facility, as the member will know, it's the facility of the Department of the provincial government, the user department being the Department of Health, and that information is important, meaning that whatever work that we must do, we have to be given a mandate by the user department, which is the Department of Health. And at some point, we were asked, I think in 2015, to implement the project. And in implementing the project, there were 3 phases. The first phase was about fencing of the hospital, which was done. The second phase was the demolition, which is not yet done. And the third phase is the construction of the new hospital. So it means the second and the third phase will be dependent on the user department. But so far, the user department had engaged GIFA, which is an entity of the provincial government as well, placed in treasury, to test the market and put this facility there and see what can happen. So as we speak, the facility is with GIFA. That's the first thing. The second question is that we have there is a security there, but because of these handing over and changing from health to GIFA to I will not be able to quantify now, but I can confirm that there are security guards there, which are paid by the state, and we will gladly and definitely provide you, member, with the figures so that we don't give you thumb-sucked figures, but we give you accurate figures. No visitors are allowed, and I think we are told that the municipality had valued the property at about 447 million. And as I said, in terms of the last question, the plans will be determined by the user department. But from where we are sitting, we believe there's a strong case for the commercialization of the property, and we will support any initiative either by through GIFA or ourselves to do or carry the work. But we will await further instruction from the user department. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mayele. Any supplementary question or short remark from Member Engelbrecht?
MEC, thank you. I appreciate your response. However, this hospital closed more than 20 years ago, and now you are saying that the department is going to be looking into it. Why has it taken this department 20 years when hospitals like Tembisa and Edenvale Hospital are really struggling to be able to accommodate, and they are, especially Tembisa, there's huge overcrowding. So, you know, the huge cost of security, and after 20 years, nothing has been done. So that's a direct indictment to the department. If the MEC can just reply to that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. In terms of Rule 134 in bracket 7, and now open for additional supplementary questions or additional remarks by members who wishes to do so. Members? Nothing. Honorable MEC?
No, thank you very much. I don't know which, just don't understand the question. MEC, I mean, the members asking me 20 years, department, indictment, which department? I've just said to her that we are not a user department. We act on instructions from departments. So I don't know what kind of an answer the member wants from me, because I have clearly indicated what we were asked to do in 2015. We have done it. We can't demolish, because to demolish there must be a budget. That budget must come from health. We can't build a new hospital, because to build a new hospital there must be a budget. It must come from the Department of Health. And I've also indicated to the member that we have handed over the facility. I mean, the Department of Health has asked GIFA to do some work on that facility, and there is work that is being done. So I think the other things are just unnecessary acting and drama, because it's on the eve of elections. But I'm just saying there is work that is being undertaken. That's what I can say to the member. Like I have said, I'm just repeating what I've said. Probably she didn't hear it properly because I was reading.
Okay. Thank you very much, MEC Maile. I now call upon Member Masilela to ask the question or to read the question to Member of the Executive Council for Education.
Greetings, Chair of Chairs. Questions to MEC for Education. I, Honorable Lindrio of the Economic Freedom Fighters, hereby in terms of Rules 126 and 130 place a question of oral reply to the MEC. With regards to social workers in the public ordinary schools in Gauteng, could the MEC please respond to the following question, which require comprehensive and accurate detailed answers? What is the total number of available social workers in all public ordinary schools in Gauteng? In your response, please provide figures of the past 2 financial years to date. What measures has the department taken to identify child-headed households from the learners in public ordinary schools in Gauteng? In your response, please provide numbers for the past 2 financial years to date. How many learners enrolled in public ordinary schools are struggling with drugs and substance abuse? And what measures has the department taken to assist such learners to get rehabilitation? What is your plan as a department to, with the sinkhole in Western affecting Relebohile Secondary School learners from attending class? And what is the department's future development plans for the eradication of asbestos infrastructure in the public ordinary school? Thank you, Speaker. Chair of Chairs.
Thank you very much. Honorable Chilwane.
Thank you, Chair of Chairs. For question 1, the Gauteng Department of Education has not appointed social workers at public ordinary schools. For question 2, in terms of the Children's Act 2005, Act number 38, the Department of Social Development is responsible for recognizing a household as a child-headed household and therefore should be keeping such statistics. The Gauteng Department of Education does not keep statistics of child-headed households. Recognizing that child-headed households are at risk of having to cope not only without adults but also with poorer living conditions than other children. These learners benefit broadly through the department's pro-poor initiatives such as automatic exemption from school fees, access to no-fee schools, recipients of the National School Nutrition Program, and scholar transport. Should additional support be required by such learners, schools are required to address through the school-based support teams. For question 3, based on the number of recommendations for expulsions of learners following a disciplinary process conducted by the SGB from April 2022 to March 2023, the head of department received and processed 204 recommendations relating to the use and selling of illegal substances at schools. The learners are referred to institutions that offer intervention programs on substance abuse and behavioral changes through the Inclusion and Special Schools Directorate, and some were either referred to the Department of Social Development for behavioral and rehabilitation intervention programs. On question 4,
The department has implemented the following measures: conducted a dolomite assessment at both original site as well as the decanting site, establishing the decanting site with 47 mobiles, classrooms, as well as the ablution blocks for the learners and staff. And consequently, learners are back in class in full. Matters still being attended to are installation of the fence in areas that are not fully covered, as well as the installation of a new gate at the decanting site, implementation of recommendation of the Dolomite Assessment Report, which requires that the ablutions at the original site be demolished and rebuilt on a different location within the same site, as well as the encapsulation of the wet service piping to prevent leakages. And the department is working on modalities to effect these requirements. On question 5, using over and above the utilization of the Department of Infrastructure in terms of building new schools and embarking on major infrastructure upgrades and rehabilitation, the GDE has also formally adopted the following delivery options. In addition, the DBSA Development Bank of South Africa and the Gauteng Funding Agency, GIFA, as existing implementing agents, ensuring that maintenance portfolio is exclusively managed by the GDE to respond urgently to aging infrastructure, major maintenance challenges, as well as asbestos maintenance requirements. With regard to the 29 schools identified entirely of asbestos, 4 brick and mortar schools have been completed currently. It's Paul Mosaka Primary School, Everest Primary School, Onverwacht Primary School, Noordgeseg Primary School. And we have 3 replacement schools that are currently in construction: Nancyfield Primary School, Rasteval Secondary School, Ditau Primary School. So of the remaining 22 schools, 11 are in various design stages with the implementing agents. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chilwane. Any follow-up question or short comment by the member? Okay, there's nothing. Can I check if there's any follow-up question or comment from the ordinary members?
Chair of Chairs, just to say there's nothing at Nancyfield as we speak, and that has been years, so you can't count that as a school which is under construction.
Don't you respond, MEC?
Maybe I should, the problem is when you want to come to the legislature and speak things that you are not certain of. I said they are currently in stages of course. I never said it's concluded. So we are busy with it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Chilwane, and thank you very much, honorable members. We move to the next item. There were questions that were asked in terms of Rule 137 in brackets 5. If a question for written reply is not replied to within the stipulated time frame and no extension is requested by the member of the Executive Council, during the next question day, the relevant member of the Executive Council must provide an oral explanation to the House for his failure to reply to the question and still hand over the written reply to the table. I'm going to ask the MECs not to reply to the question, but to provide an oral explanation for his failure to reply to the question and forward the reply to the table. There are 2 outstanding responses needed from MECs Kumalo and MEC Diale Tlabela. I'm going to start with MEC Kumalo to please give the oral explanation as to why questions number 50, 52, 54, 55, and 57 were not responded to. MEC Kumalo.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Chair of Chair. This is one of the dependable questions. They depend from the responses that we get from municipality. And in this regard, is the question from Mfuleni Estake. And I did indicate, without making an excuse for them, Deputy Chair of Chair, that they are really receiving a flurry of questions coming from this August House, which is fine because there's a sense of accountability. But the negative part of it is that they take time to respond to us. Madam Deputy Chair of Chair, we are working hard, we are working with the municipality to try and ensure that all the outstanding questions are responded in the House. So in the absence of them really providing us with information, it will be difficult for me to respond to such question in this House, Deputy Chair. So the simple reason is that we have not received the responses that are required from the municipality of Mfuleni. Thank you very much, Deputy Chair of Chair, and our apologies to yourself and to the House as such.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kumalo. I'm now going to ask you to hand over the reply to the table staff. I'm told that some of the questions were received, if I'm not mistaken, Jenny, but please submit those to our staff members. Can we then move to Honorable Diale Tlabela to give us an explanation of why question 18 was not responded to?
Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs, and good morning to colleagues. I'm a bit under weather, Chair of Chairs, I flew. And apologies to the House. I'll just make sure that...
that gala dinner you did there in Midrand, that's why you can't respond. That gala dinner.
I'll just make sure that...
You are busy with
Member Tlabela, please continue.
I'll just make sure that the question is responded to Chair of Chairs and submit to the House. I'll just check what is the problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and please submit a written reply to the table staff. Siyabonga, awuthandi indaba vele. Next point, in terms of the fourth item, Secretary, please read the first order.
Motion on the digital economy in terms of Rule 117 read together with Rule 112 by Honorable Randall.
There is a motion. A member Randall, who is actually the proponent, please begin the debate.
Good morning, Chair of Chairs and members. I, Honourable Randall, tables the following motion in terms of Rule 1211A, read with Rule 1172 on the digital economy. Noting that the digital economy creates innumerable benefits and opportunities for people as digital technologies drive innovation and fuel job opportunities and economic growth. 2, the digital economy influences the way people interact and bring about broad sociological changes. And 3, according to the International Data Corporation, IDC, digital growth in Africa and the Middle East is set to grow by $6.2 billion, 28% in 22, and may I add that it's now projecting an investment value of $74 billion by 2026. We believe that national government has begun the process of auctioning off spectrum for increased connectivity, as it has identified new broadband spectrum as a key reform for driving economic growth. 2, yet both the rollout of the Gauteng broadband network as well as broadband access provided by the newly introduced Township Economic Development Act have not kept up the pace with the needs of this rapidly growing economy. And 3, the shortcomings in point 2 have been a barrier to the entrance of new participants, particularly our young people, from reaping the benefits of digital inclusion. Therefore, resolves that the House debates 1, how Gauteng intends to take full advantage of the new opportunities in the digital economy, particularly for young people. 2, what technological barriers impede inclusion and what steps are being taken to address this. And 3, how it can encourage the private sector to assist and grow broadband access provincially. Now, Chair of Chairs, South Africa is a developing economy that carries the potential to increase economic activity through digital economies. Digital entrepreneurship has the potential to influence job creation with low barriers to and ease of entry into the marketplace. The digital economy will contribute 30% of global GDP and create 30 million jobs by 2030. Digital technologies have advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history, reaching around 50% of the developing world's population in only 2 decades and transforming societies. Now, according to the National Integrated ICT White Paper, there are currently around 20,000 ICT companies in South Africa. Cumulatively, they contribute 8% to our country's GDP. And furthermore, the sector has achieved consistent growth despite the country's economic challenges and is set to maintain a growth trajectory through to 2025. We also note the key sectors of the Gauteng economy are increasingly becoming digital and knowledge-based. In 2019, GIFA initiated a GBN commercialization project with a value of 2.8 billion rand. The project description reads as follows: to supply broadband connectivity to 3,000 sites, that's LAN and WAN, in the Gauteng province, with phase 1 that provided connectivity to 1,181 sites, and phase 2 for the remaining sites. Now, 4 years later, and the funding is now critical. We must get the funding to bridge this digital divide and address inequality in our province's communities. Several recent tech surveys indicate that higher speeds and improved mobile and fiber infrastructure are helping to narrow the digital divide. This is the result of stepped-up investment in our digital economy in recent years. Since the first South African Investment Conference in 2018, investments in digital economy have grown exponentially. Over the past 5 years, we have seen a total investment commitment of 200 billion rand in our country's telecommunications networks by Vodacom, MTN, Telkom, Rain, and Liquid Telecom. Faster fiber and 5G rollout make our economy more competitive as more connectivity solutions help our business emerge and expand. To take advantage of this inward investment and see it increase, we must urgently resolve the electricity crisis and the theft and destruction of our ICT infrastructure in this province. The essential task of preparing society for the future requires...
Is that a point of order?
Those of us who are in the virtual platform have lost sound. I don't know whether you can hear us or not, but we can't hear anything.
Okay, thank you very much. You can continue.
Thank you, Chair of Chairs. The essential task of preparing society for the future requires major public and private sector collaboration and partnerships so that there are no losers and victims in this digital revolution. Partnerships should focus on digital inclusion and citizen empowerment programs such as rolling out digital infrastructure to urban, poor and rural areas, massive upskilling of our current workforce and youth in general, introducing public e-services and data affordability. Young entrepreneurs are already selling everything from vintage clothes to vegan ice cream on Instagram and Depop and are building social media empires. The World Economic Forum estimates that 65% of our children entering primary school today will find themselves in occupations that today does not exist. The game changer will bring about radical social and economic change. It is already encouraging to note that Gauteng has a number of new black-owned, women-owned and youth-owned businesses that are making major breakthroughs in the digital economy space as drivers of manufacturing 4.0 and of the fourth industrial revolution. A lot of our entrepreneurs own companies that are involved in cutting-edge innovation and globally competitive advanced manufacturing. Teddy Daka, who runs ANSYS and Etion, joined Sutari, specializing in cybersecurity, one of the major new players in the global cybersecurity industry. TAP, advanced technologies owned by Tutu Kumalu and Nana Sabelu, also making waves in cutting-edge technology, developing advanced defense information technology systems for some of Southeast Asia's economic tigers. Closer to home in Watlu, Mamelodi, a black-owned technology company, Dotcom, manufactures fiber optics. Sweep South signed up over 11,000 domestic cleaners by modernizing home services and bringing technology to this industry. We Care, NCP, works on a simple e-waste collection business model in order to break down the cycle of deferred e-waste in rural communities. The fourth industrial revolution has the greatest potential to change our lives, especially those of our young people, and the best way to take full advantage of this revolution is to prepare our province's youth, business and government to be fully digital and contribute to the digital economy of the province. Abraham Lincoln is often credited with the following quote: "The best way to predict the future is to create it." Thank you.
No, I'm just fixing myself now.
Freedom Front Plus. 1 minute.
Thank you, Chair of Chairs. Yes, the digital economy needs power all over the world, and we need to fix our power provision situation in South Africa, because at the moment we are running a candle-lit economy. Now, the fourth industrial revolution is here. There are talks about the fifth industrial revolution. The fourth industrial revolution means that there's a cybernetics revolution taking place, where artificial intelligence and programs are connected with the Internet of Things. And we are falling behind on that, in that respect. As far as artificial intelligence are concerned, it is going to change the economic and labor landscape as we know it. It will have a huge impact in the world, but also South Africa. It can be a friend, but it can also be an enemy. It can destroy jobs, and we need to investigate how this will impact South Africa, how this will impact Gauteng. And we must create guardrails to ensure that artificial intelligence does not create more destruction than positive impacts on our economy going forward. So it will be good for this House and for the responsible Economic Development Committee to do a proper investigation regarding artificial intelligence in the future and how we can use it to enhance our economy, to create jobs, and to protect us from the adverse effects it will have in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Mukherjee, instead of Honorable Makwala.
Thank you, Chair. Chair of Chairs. What? The digital economy describes economic output linked to technology, whether transforming businesses or manufacturing processes, commercial transaction or professional interactions. The Township Economy Act 2 of 2022, which was recently enacted into law in April of 2022, seeks to promote economic transformation to enable meaningful participation of predominantly Black, Coloured and Indian people who are engaging in local township economy. Introduce an enabling framework to ensure that retail malls and supermarkets that are township-based partner with local township-based enterprises, including the sourcing of some of the products and services from local township producers, service providers and manufacturers. As the EFF, we have said on various occasions that we are not against the use of science and technology. We commit to support any form of technology that will be as inclusive as possible and will be used towards developing the industrial economy of the entire province. The Gauteng government must indeed take full advantage of the new opportunities in the digital economy for the benefit of young people who are the future. As the EFF, we correctly indicated in our founding manifesto that the state must strive towards constructing a high technological institute which will teach our young South Africans innovation and research on technology, with the sole aim of innovating technological instruments in the country. E-government alone has failed to to, since its inception, just to connect its sister departments. It has failed in its mission of rolling out the network broadband in the province. Therefore, a high-tech institute is needed to take full advantage of the digital economy. We want to believe that there are no technological barriers that impede inclusion of young people in the digital economy. Our biggest enemy is lack of political will by the ruling party, the ANC. And there is nothing that is done to address this. Instead, young people are being channeled into their early retirement by being encouraged to depend on the SRD instead of being mentored to become useful members of the society through digital economy. As we convene here today and debating this motion, we should be resolving on how the state must develop an industrial policy with the main focus on digital economy, a policy that will speak to heavily supporting, promoting, and protecting technological innovations that are made in this country. As we are convening here today, we should be resolving on how our government and the private sector should channel funds towards investment in broadband infrastructure in order to increase internet, radio, television that will enhance economic development. E-government alone cannot manage to achieve all these. Since its inception, this department has failed to even connect departments and Gauteng municipalities. This province, through the state, needs a high-tech institute that will focus mainly on young people to implement programs that seek to use science and technology as contributors to sustainable livelihoods. It is therefore important to take full advantage of the digital economy and not centralize everything within the Department of E-Government. Noting that the Gauteng Department of E-Government has adopted the 4th Industrial Revolution strategy to ensure that Gauteng is at the forefront of South Africa's effort to be the continent's hub of innovation, digital transformation, and 4th Industrial Revolution. We as the EFF, we believe that this initiative is directly linked to digitalization of the township economy, and thus far, this fast-track the modernization of township economy, which will align with the rapid development of information and communication technology. We believe that the economic benefits realized from advancement and innovation on ICT will foster the well-being of the citizens of our township in the province. Whilst we agree that industrialization will come with a lot of opportunities, a fear one holds strongly where subjects as industrialization is concerned is usually linked to the lack of resources and access to facilities most of our people are faced with. Whilst we appreciate that this will come with economic development and transformation pointers needed by our country and province, a question really remains with our ability to trust the current government with the ability to deliver the act as we pass into legislation. Honorable members, since the economic policy direction adopted during the Democratic Dawn years was not about fundamental transformation,
Thank you very much,
but rather...
Honorable Member.
Can I just, the last part?
Thank you very much. Kufile 23 seconds.
Last
Kufile
part.
nya. No. Thank you very much, ma'am. Honorable Silius.
Thank you, Madam Chair of Chairs. I want to illustrate a practical feature of the era we are now in. So let me ask you all a question. What does disruption mean to you? In November 2022, OpenAI launched a new research model called ChatGPT. As of last week, the project had over 100 million research participants globally. How long do you think it took Netflix to gain its first 1 million subscribers? 3.5 years. Facebook, 10 months. Spotify, 5 months. It took Instagram 2.5 months to get 1 million subscribers. Now guess how long it took ChatGPT? 5 days. 5 days. That's disruption. As policymakers and as lawmakers, we are standing on the edge of millenarian opportunities for our citizens in Gauteng. My colleagues on both sides have already given you the practical steps that government must take to expand the opportunities. Prioritize digital infrastructure, invest in literacy and skills, especially for the youth, foster innovation and entrepreneurship, protect data privacy, and promote inclusivity. To be fair, the signs that we as governments in our various provincial and local authorities have some understanding of what will be required is everywhere. Evidence of digitization is uneven, but the noises are there. However, as policymakers, we need to understand that we are behind the curve, and to gain an understanding of what goes on inside the black blocks, we must consider the seen and the unseen. You may be aware that some of the world's tech giants, including OpenAI themselves, are currently lobbying the US Congress to regulate the AI industry. They are purporting to be afraid of the speed of AI disruption and are running to government for laws to protect the people. This is the seen, and it requires us to look at the unseen. Why would these tech giants, who have been self-regulating for decades, need government intervention? Remember that all of the code and the models, such as pre-trained transformers, are open source. The source code is available to anybody who wants to learn. The code base is supported by extensive code libraries and communities of people who help each other to solve real problems every day. Since the launch of ChatGPT a few months ago, thousands of data scientists have used the same code to train machines on their own data. Google now has Bard, Microsoft has Bing Chat, and there are literally thousands of other pre-trained transformers already available. Could the unseen be that big tech is trying to conspire with big government to protect their oligopoly? US Congress members are likely to be using Bing Chat to get a suggestion for the dinner menu. Are they in any way ready or competent to regulate AI? And here's the lesson for us. Are we competent? Are we ready to regulate AI? Should we be doing it? We cannot turn or even influence the evolution of the digital world for the greater good. We can't do it. However, we can help to build a future where every citizen in Gauteng can take equitable advantage of this economy. We have to seize the opportunity. We have a solid constitution, we have the POPI Act, we have the Cybercrimes Act. Let us now focus our efforts on growing strong individuals with strong values so they can navigate the web-native world. We are indeed hurtling towards the singularity. I thank you.
Honorable Malema, 1143.
Thank you, Madam Chair of Committees. Let me start off by extending my hand of profoundly heartfelt, fraternal, and revolutionary greetings to the Honorable Speaker and a Deputy, wherever they are, Honorable Premier, to yourself, Chairperson of Committees, and your Deputy, the Chief Whip of the Majority Party, and his Deputy, leaders and whips of the opposition political parties represented in this august House, members of the Executive Council, chairpersons of committees, honorable members of this legislature house, distinguished guests who's just left the house, the gallery, and people of Gauteng who have joined us from different media platforms. Madam Chair of Committees, following a cabinet approval on the 29th March 2023, the ANC-led government, through its Department of Communication and Digital Technology, under the stewardship of the Honorable Minister Gungubele, issued a national policy on rapid deployment of electronic communication network and facilities in the schedule in terms of Section 21, read with Section 3, subsection 1 of the Electronic Communication Act 36 of 2005. Madam Chair of Committees, this was in direct response to the ANC's call that digital migration and access to broadband should remain a key priority. These are among the various reforms to revive the economy post-COVID-19 pandemic after the deadly virus devastated the economy, creating massive job losses. To this end, President Ramaphosa, during January 8 statement celebration in 2022 held in Limpopo province, indicated that South Africa Connect, SA Connect, the government broadband project should be expedited in response to the growing need by South Africans, especially the youth, to participate in the digital economy. The project seeks to ensure that 80% of the population has access to the internet by 2024. Accordingly, research by Statista Research Department 2023 reported that as of January 2022, there were 41.19 million active internet users in South Africa. Similarly, Digital 2023 research reported an increase to be 43.48 million internet users in South Africa at the start of 2023, when internet penetration stood at 72.3%. According to the same report of Digital 2023, Madam Chair of Committees, it was also found that 28 million internet users in the country used social media, which was around 46% of the total population. The report further indicated that in South Africa, though there are challenges, youth benefit to internet access and categories of youth beneficiation by age groups from the total population were as follows. 15.1% is between the ages of 5 and 12, 8.9% is between the ages of 13 and 17, 10.6% is between the ages of 18 and 24, and 17.9% is between the ages of 25 and 34. However, according to studies issued, COVID-19 continued to impact research into internet adoption. So the actual internet users figures may be higher than these published numbers. Social media has been transforming lives and businesses across South Africa in the last few years, and it is not different in Gauteng province. The broadband internet can positively impact on entrepreneurship in Gauteng. Notably, universal access to broadband has been a key feature of Vision 2030 of the ANC-led government. The existing legislature, the Electronic Communication Act, requires that electronic clearing services and electronic communication networks license applicants or licensee to have a minimum 30% equity ownership held by persons from historically disadvantaged groups, which include black people, women, youth, and people with disability. Madam Chair of Committees, in his State of the Province address, Premier Lesufi made a commitment to the people of Gauteng that the budget for fighting crime will include, but not limited to, installation of CCTV cameras and drones. The ANC-led government, through its Department of E-Government, eGov, will subcontract youth, women, and people with disability-owned ICT SMMEs to grow township economy. Also, the emerging small enterprises will benefit from the project. The ANC-led government, through its Department of eGov, has already made significant strides to embrace the fourth industrial revolution to make good of the challenges and opportunities like data science, robotics, cybersecurity for benefit and safety of Gauteng provincial ICT infrastructure, data and processes. Broadband internet is one of the most important information communication technologies available today, with the capacity of providing a fertile environment for entrepreneurship to flourish in Gauteng province. Accordingly, Madam Chair of Committees, investment in innovation and knowledge will contribute significantly to the economic growth. Yes. Subsequently, investment in broadband infrastructure should enhance economic growth by facilitating the development of innovative processes. In this context, Madam Chair of Committees, broadband can have differing effects on the entrepreneurial competencies of self-efficacy, creative problem solving, and networking ability. According to international studies, there are positive linkages between broadband speeds and economic growth. Against this background, Madam Chair of Committees, the ANC-led Gauteng Department of E-Government Strategic Plan 2020-2025 seeks to invest in the modernization of the infrastructure in respect of the rollout of the Gauteng broadband network and 5G in making Gauteng City Region to be a smart city. As a direct response to linking funding with plans, the department has allocated an amount of 1.7 billion for the attainment of its objectives, which will be achieved through the rollout of ICT services and the promotion of the usage of e-government services by citizens and government entities. Madam Chair of Chairs, Remogo in building better lives for all in this province. For this financial year, 2023-2024, the department has set out to achieve key projects which include championing the modernization of government in the Gauteng province through continued rollout and expansion of the Gauteng broadband network through wide area network connectivity, providing various provincial government sites with voice over internet protocol to maximize the usage of e-services by the department and entities, ensuring that transversal services are available without connectivity cuts, review and approval of ICT standards, as well as policies to standardize the provision of ICT services in the province, implementation of the cyber security policy to minimize cyber attacks and to safeguard state information, as well as to implement advocacy initiatives to promote the usage of e-services in the province. The ANC-led Gauteng provincial government will expand these modernized services to township, informal settlement and hostels. Remogo, Madam Chair of Committees, in growing Gauteng together. Let's grow Gauteng province together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Randall, kindly respond to the debate.
Thank you so much, Chair of Chairs, and my heart is really beating much faster because I could hear that we're all in agreement this morning at last. I'm so glad that all the political parties is prepared to put aside our politics and the games, because it's now about the country's youth. It's about cashing in on the opportunities that this province can get from a digitized economy. Madam Chair, the message is clear. We've got one opportunity, one chance, and we must never, ever talk to our youth in a few years' time to say we missed the biggest opportunity ever that we had, that was right in our laps, to boost our economy, our province's economy, through digital innovations and jobs. We've got the highest youth unemployment. We're a young nation. We've seen that grade ones will not find jobs that we are currently seeing in our economy. We need to prepare them. It's in our hands as the leaders of this province to make these things happen. No more frameworks, no more policy papers. It's time for action. Let us take the investors, give them the security. The candlelit economy, it's the biggest risk. I agree with Member Alberts, the biggest risk currently. We need to address that, and we need to give hope to our youth and create that opportunities. And thank you for allowing us to debate this motion today.
Thank you very much. The motion was just for debate, so there won't be any question asked. That concludes the business of the day, and the next meeting will be on the 15th of June at 10 o'clock. The House is now adjourned. Thank you very much, honorable members, for your attendance. Okay.
mokgotsi wa rona o no hlokahala.